Hello everyone, I am back to do a canvas version of my beach themed ballet flats, which is another video available on my channel. Here I'm going to show you the glittering process. Hopefully you can see, because it's wet, that I have Mod Podged the front section of the shoe, and I have mixed these two colours of gold glitter together. So this is going to be the beach section, and I'm just going to pour the glitter all over the section that I've glued. I will need to probably mix more of this glitter, but I didn't want to mix too much and with too much surplus. What am I doing? See, the minute I try and do this on the front of the camera, I forget what I'm doing. I'm going to pop this stuff, I've got something from a previous project underneath, back into this cup, so I can just get a good coverage over this top edge here. And that's the first coat, so I will let that dry and come back and do a second coat, and then we can move on to the water. So I'm sorry, it's incredibly bright on my table at the moment. This is where the sun is, so there's quite a lot of shadow, but hopefully you can see I have covered all the front section of the shoe in Mod Podge and overlapped onto the sand. This has had 2 coats. And I have now mixed these 3 glitters together. This one is a chunkier one, and these 2 are finer in my cup. And so I'm now going to glitter this front section just in the same way as I did with the gold. Get all the edges. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Perfect timing. There we go. And I'll do the same thing I did with the gold, and do a second coat, and then we will be adding the white glitter where the waves break onto the sand. The sun is now moving around, so hopefully that helps a bit. You can see I've done 2 coats of the blue, obviously, as well as 2 coats of the gold on the front, and now we're looking at the back of the shoe. And I'm struggling to decide if I put a section of gold of the sand around the top here and then do blue, or if I just do blue. I don't think I want to just do gold, mainly because the blues are my personal favourite colour, and although I'm hoping these shoes will be the first pair to go in my Etsy shop, if nobody buys them, they may come on holiday with me in August. So I think we'll go for, to make my life simpler, I'm just going to stick with the greeny blue water along the back. And I'm really out of Mod Podge. So there's a bit of glitter in my Mod Podge. Never mind, you won't see that in any way. It's the same colour that I've been using. I'm hoping that because these have this sole, that it will give some added protection in terms of the glittered part of the shoe is not very close to a pavement or grass or the ground or whatever, and so hopefully that will mean that these are perhaps a little more robust and some other designs, I don't know. It was just what occurred to me. So I bet you're very pleased that I didn't make you watch me glue all the front of the shoe as well, because it's rather boring. And I'm not sure if I've not got enough of the glitter mixed, so I may need to. Sorry about that, my phone decided to tell me the storage was full, even though I'd just been through deleting all the videos and photos, because they're stored elsewhere long term, so I don't keep them on my phone. Just giving that a quick brush there. This is what I've got left from doing the front. I don't know if you can see. I don't think I'm going to put any more chunky in it, any of this one, because we're going round the back of the shoe and it's less forgiving in terms of taking the chunky. So I'm just going to throw in some more of the other two colours and we'll deal with whatever chunky is still left in there, but I won't add any more. Give that a swirl to mix it all up and we'll get cracking. Otherwise the Mod Podge will be dry because I had to wait and deal with that rubbish on my phone. Don't worry if the glitter goes everywhere else, it's only going to stick where there's actually glue. There, I'm going to need to probably refill this cup as well. Go. Oh, I'm trying not to miss the paper when I tip it over. Just a bit of something there. I'm just going to go around the edges. Particularly, I missed a bit at the bottom there. Oh, and a bit there. It's harder with the sides and backs of the shoes. It's easier to miss bits, I should say. I'm just going to go around the edge and push any bits there back up. It doesn't look like I did a very good job of right down here, but that's okay. That's what a second coat is for. I'm going to kind of clean up the edges. And we have our first coat on the back of the shoe. So now I've done the second coat on the back of the shoe, and it's been about an hour. So the front of the shoe should be dry enough for me to go back in there. So I'm going to add some white waves where they break onto the shore. Now my white glitter is a little bit contaminated with bits of gold and the odd bit of blue, but I don't mind that because that fits with what I'm doing. There's my brush. So I'm going to just add glue around where I want it. Again, I'll probably need to do 2 coats here. I may do other waves further back, but I'm not sure. A variety of ideas in my head, but I haven't quite decided yet. It'll depend how well some of this comes off. I'm just going to kind of extend it a little bit up here. it doesn't have to be kind of uniform. There can be a few little gaps, because if you think about when waves break, they're not uniform. There's more water in some bits than others. So this is my sort of white mixture. It's mostly white, but like I say, I don't mind a bit of the blue and the gold in there because it helps to blend it a little bit. I think that should be good. Obviously it looks whiter than it will look when it's dry because the Mod Podge is white. But I'm hoping that with a couple of layers it will still look white enough, but we shall see. So I've now added 2 coats of the white mix to the shoes, and they're going to need to dry for quite a while because obviously there's quite a few layers on there, so I'll probably leave those for 24 hours so that's all fully hardened before I go in to do anything else. But while that's drying, I've been thinking about what embellishments I want to put on those shoes. I'll just bring it back so you can, there's something for you to see on the screen. On my previous beach themed shoes, I had made these little turtles, which I still really love. But when I've made some to try, they feel a little bit small maybe for these shoes. And so what I've then gone and done was have a look at what other moulds I had, because I don't have any other turtle moulds currently. And I had a shell that was larger. So here I've used some resin and some pink and gold mica powders to make a shell, which is a larger size. So I'm thinking that might work quite nicely up here, sort of on the shoreline somewhere, probably on the outer side of the shoe where it's going to be seen most. Yeah, but if the turtles are really popular, I'll probably get a bigger mould. But all I did here was I used white resin, as you can see on the back, and I brushed mica powders into the mould, and then I've used UV resin because I didn't have any white epoxy resin, and it's quite small, but I did have to do it in thin layers so that it's all cured and hardened as I needed it to. And then what I do to sort of tidy them up at the edges is I use my nail file just to go in afterwards and sort of take off any rough edges. However, I don't really mind the rough edges so much on this shell because it makes it look a little bit more organic and realistic. But any bits that you want flattened, maybe just sort of like on the back so that it lies flat. I'm just going to take my nail file and file those down. And I'm debating possibly doing like a little pool of resin with some beads or little shells on that I add this to as an adhesive, so it's really, really secure and it's not going anywhere. Because even super glue can, in theory, come off. So I'll have a think about that. And then when these shoes are dry, I'll be back for the next step. Just as a quick side note, I've just been doing a bit more work on these resin shells. I've just painted them sort of gently, briefly with Mod Podge, and I've just been taking these mica powders. I've got a pink, a gold, and then a purple, and just popping them on my brush and brushing them over, just to give a bit more depth and colour onto these shells, make them look a bit more interesting and 3D. Completely optional, it's just that I wasn't quite happy with them quite as plain as they were, and brushing them on with some extra colours has helped to pick up some of the finer detail in the shells, the barnacles and the lines, and I'm much happier with those now. So they'll just get sealed over with a clear coat of varnish before they're added onto the shoes. I've just come back to do a quick update. Those of you who may have been watching closely might notice that I've changed the waves slightly. I've gone back in, because I didn't like the stark definition where the white joined the turquoisey blue. So I've gone in with a row of the pale blue that I'd mixed in, and then the slightly darker blue, and that gives a really nice fade effect into this turquoise and sort of creates more of a stepped wave effect that I really like. So there's a lot of glitter on there, but I have done an interim coat of varnish so that I know this is now sort of, she says, transfer free, pretty much transfer free. I also have hand cream on, which won't be helping, but it's done a good job in keeping most of the glitter in place while I continue. I've been playing around with the shell and some of these flat back pearls, and I've done so many combinations. I've done like up here or down here, and you know, I'm sort of playing around, and at the moment I can't decide where I want to put them. I think my favourite is something straight in the middle like this, because all the different angles I do don't look quite right, but I'm not entirely sure. I just wanted to show you that I'm going to try using this glue to see how this gets on, because although I used resin on the previous beach themed pair of shoes that I made, they were ballet flats and they were more firm, stiffer fabric, so they could take a little bit of resin. But because these are very you know, soft canvas shoes, I'm not sure resin's going to work, so I'm going to see how this does when I stick them on, and then sort of have a good pull at them after 24 hours and see if they come off. But I will come back when I know where I'm going to stick them, or maybe I will have stuck them on, because it'll need at least one, if not two more coats of varnish on these. Yeah, so I'll be back soon.